Welcome to the Daily Review. This is Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading. Today is August 20th, 2025, and today is Wednesday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, Microsoft, which had a huge gap up and then sold off, broke further down and breaking a 30-day moving average. But first, looking at today's major economic events. So we had earlier this morning from Great Britain a core price index CPI number, and then tonight from the United States we have an FOMC meeting minutes. Now, they are looking to change the Fed chairman, so this is going to be kind of interesting how this is going to unfold. Now, looking at the market, starting out with the Forex symbols, the Canadian dollar retraces versus the US dollar, and as we shift to the indices, the NASDAQ selling off, the Dow Jones unchanged really. And looking at commodities, we saw natural gas continue to sell off. And looking at the stocks, it's very stock specific. The semiconductors, the chip makers sold off, including Microsoft. So it was Microsoft, AMD, and NVIDIA selling off. And lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin sells off as well. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go with the Canadian dollar. Now the Canadian dollar has gotten depreciating versus the US dollar, and it is at that breaking point at 38.73-ish level right there. You could see it. Unbelievable. And now, if it does break this area, because this is major resistance for the Canadian dollar, we could see ourselves back at that 139-ish level. Now jumping into the commodities and looking at natural gas, it continues to sell off, and this trend line continues. Okay, so for all intents and purposes, yes, we did get a bit of a break for it, but every time it hits that 8-day moving average, it gets smaller. Now we are hitting a supportish area here. Okay, so just be aware of it. We may bounce off of this area, something to consider as we continue trading this. Now looking at the U.S. market. So we're going to start out with the NASDAQ as it sold off considerably yesterday, over 300 points after hitting all-time record highs, just shy of 24,000 points for the NASDAQ. Now looking at the U.S. markets, which is the Dow Jones, just hanging on to its all-time record highs, not budging away from it, which is kind of interesting because we were seeing some major corporations are selling off. So let's take a look at it. So number one, Microsoft is breaking that 8-day moving average. If I zoom out a little bit, if that red line crosses over the 30-day, which is the blue line, if that crosses over, this is going to sell off continuously. Okay, might be going back to that 450-ish level. So keep that in mind, as this may still reverse on the downside. Now looking at the other stocks, Netflix did sell off, and so did AMD. Big time sell off here after hitting new year highs, okay, at 186, but selling off sharply from there. And NVIDIA also selling off from its new all-time record highs of 181. So this may be profit taking, okay, in light of what's going on, but it is definitely a sell-off nonetheless. Now lastly, let's take a look at Bitcoin. It sold off even more yesterday because we were about 115-ish level, 116. We broke that to our low supportish level at that 112-ish level. That's what I called it yesterday, and that's where we are right now. We're bouncing off of it just a little bit. So keep this in mind. This is a good place for us to bounce off of as a future move towards the upside. Now we are still in summer trading. FOMC coming out with their meeting minutes, which is their decision as to last time's interest rate decision and then moving forward. Yes, U.S. President Trump wants to get rid of the current Fed chairman. They've been butting heads a lot. They haven't been working together. And because of that, that's going to add some friction here. And it might add some interesting insight to what's going to happen tonight, with some insight as to why the Fed didn't lower interest rates up until now. This is Fed Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.
My advice, this is the best time to trade.